Good afternoon, guys. Today, our subject is food and beverage service management, and topic is supervisory functions. After doing this lecture or after completing this lecture, uh, what do you learn, what you grab from this topic, like how a supervisor do the functions and play their role in any organization, like while doing starting to end up the or closing the all uh, organizations. Okay, so let's start. Supervisory functions. In their primary role, the food and beverage supervisor, also called food and beverage manager or food service manager, oversee food planning and preparation for restaurants, hotels, and resorts. The major, or you can say that main role of any supervisor or any manager or any super senior manager in the organization or any business sector. If we talk about our industry, like hospitality industry, in our industry there are food and beverage supervisors, executive chefs, and then managers, captains, front office managers. Okay, so there are lot of you can say that people or persons who is responsible for their work in in our organizations. Okay, so in this there are primary role of food and beverage supervisor, or if we call from other name, we can call by food and beverage manager or food and beverage service manager, seeing of overall planning and preparation for restaurant, hotels, and resorts. Like all the planning means like from starting, if we talk about when we preparing or when we set as putting our restaurant at any place, our managers are connected from that time, like from designing like what equipments we required in our hotel, resort, or in restaurant. Okay, what type of you can say that food we required. Okay, the clientage we get from there, according to that they just prepare the menus over there. Okay, and then again designing like what type of atmosphere over there, casual atmosphere we required, or formal or semi-formal, or you can say that colleges atmosphere, like where all the young people are coming over there. Okay, so they all plan and decide, and then they prepare their dishes and prepare the food according to that. So this is the major role of your supervisor. Okay, and next point, food and beverage supervisor creates menu, oversees food and beverage inventories, manage cooking staff, and choose a range of beverages to be served at their establishment, like which I already told you. Like from planning, like when we start any organization or any place, they connected with us from that time. So they just they also design our restaurant, prepare the menus for our restaurants. Okay, and seeing the inventory what we required for the to prepare the food. Okay, what type of staff we required. Okay, for that particular type of cooking of that food. Okay, then cooking staff again, and choosing the range of beverages, like what type of beverages we are serving over there. Okay, or you are serving over there. So they all check and check thorough check over there. Okay, on the inventories also. Okay, like they prepare inventory list on daily basis or after a week. Okay, and they just go and purchase all of the material. They also may help in your marketing. Okay, like how we can grab more guests or attract more guests towards our restaurant. Okay, so these are the role of your supervisory functions, or you can say that any supervisor or any manager or any food and beverage manager in your restaurant. Clear, guys? Yes, any confusion in this topic or in this slide, you may discuss with me. Uh, Otherwise, we will continue with next slide. I think so. There will be no confusion from your side. So let's move to next slide. They ensure adherence to food safety and alcoholic beverages regulations. Like this, again, the slide is continued from the previous one. Like ensures the adherence of safety, like what food precautions, what food safety we have to keep in our mind. Okay, they also tell us what type of food we can use and what type of food we can't use in our restaurant. Okay, for alcoholic beverages or any kind of special food we want to serve in our restaurant, we need some kind of you can say that some kind of your certificates or license for that. Okay, uh, because government provide license, or you can say that certificates to serve alcoholic drinks, or you can say that if we talk about a normal restaurant, okay, or any kind of bakery, we can say that nowadays you have to take certification for that, safety certification from the government for any normal restaurant where you can't where you are not serving any kind of any type of alcohol. Okay, so food safety certificates license you have to take from the government, so they also put check over there. Okay, and they, if required, they provide that, or they do all the, you can say, the documentation for that. Okay, what type of documentation required for taking that certificates, they also do that. And next point, food and beverage supervisor, sorry, might also inspect kitchen equipments and address any customer complaints or concerns regarding food preparation and menu offerings. Okay, like the supervisor is also responsible for, you can say that, not only responsible for just planning and preparing the menus of the restaurant. Okay, or they just take keep ensure that all the certification are we are having. They also responsible for inspecting, like sometimes they just do visit, surprise visit, or they just regularly go to the kitchen or restaurant department or the back of the house areas to just inspect what uh, tasks, and you can say that what activities are going over there. Okay, um, if they required, or if the situation required any improvement over there. Okay, like if we take an example, if our supervisor or if our manager goes to the back area, so there is a too much dirt over there, or you can say that the equipments we are using, the crockery and cutlery what we are using over there, that are not on the proper place or not on the shelves where it have to be we have to be kept. Okay, so at that point they just address us, or you can say that they just provide guidance to us, like to improve our you can say that work, improvement is required in our work. Okay, or they just tell us like you have to go thorough cleaning over there. Okay, so in this point you may say that the supervisor might also inspect kitchen equipments, like maybe any kind of equipment they can might inspect, like uh, you can say that if required any kind of repair over there, they just check over there and they just say like how long this particular equipment is not in the working condition. They just may ask about that. Okay, so any kind of equipment they can inspect over there and also address the customer complaints. If we are running some restaurant or some organization, we it's obvious that we might get, or we may get some complaints from the guest. If we talk about of our industry, in our industry we might get food complaints. Okay, or any kind of service complaint which we are providing to the guest. Okay, so they may address any complaints, customer complaints from the guests, they may handle that, tackle that. They may take feedbacks from the customer also. And next are concerns regarding food preparation and menu offerings. Like they also may discuss about the food preparation with the guests. Okay, how would you like our food, and what complaints you have, or if any improvement is required, you may tell us, or you just put into our feedback form. Okay, and also discuss some menu offerings, like if you eliminate some food items from the menu, or put some new items or new dishes in our menu. They may ask from the guest also, because uh, we are in the actual market, you can say that. Guests tell us much better than our staff, you can say that, because we just got to know about the likes and dislikes of the guest also. So guys, just read these points, then we move forward. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Okay, let's forward to next slide. Briefing we already did. Like you all know about briefing and debriefing. Let's discuss once again. It is a policy of food and beverage. A service briefing is conducted before every shift in each outlet. The purpose of this policy is to communicate relevant information to serve associates and to ensure a professionally operating outlet. Like the main motive of briefing is what we have to done for that day, or after a few minutes we just discuss that things with our junior ones, or we can discuss with the senior ones, or senior just brief about that proper you can say that event, or the task which we have to done after few minutes, or within a half an hour. We just brief about that, like what we have to do and what we have not to do. So in service industry, or in you can say that F&B industry, the main motive of briefing is or a purpose of briefing is the policy to communicate relevant information about the customer or associates, and ensure the personally operating outlets, like what we just providing to the guest in few minutes or after few minutes, and what guest expecting from us. Okay, after few minutes, or what he or she will tell before the event started, like this and this services we just needed in our event. Okay, so all the briefing, or all the you can say that briefing processes about the telling, or just two-way communication with the junior ones and with the senior ones. Okay, for the smooth, efficient and effective operations in the outlet or in any kind of event. Okay. Yes, Akash, what happened? Clear, guys? Any confusion in this? Okay. Next is your checking the Misa scene and Misa pla, or you can say Misa pla and Misa scene. You all know about what is Misa scene and Misa pla, to creating some place in a, you can say that, working atmosphere, or for that particular place, for the particular job, that we call Misa scene, or creating some scene over there, and place putting things onto the right place to start the service, or to start the, you can say that, any kind of operations. That is called your Misa pla. So these are some of your points. All cutlery should be on the table, arranged neatly for the number of courses to be served. Like whatever we are serving to the guest, we all know about that. and whatever the guest orders one by one, we just know about that. So we arrange the table of the guest according to that. If there is a la carte menu, we just put only napkins or side plate or side knife over there, because we don't know about the menu. Whatever the guest orders, we just serve same to the guest. But in TDH, or you can say that in table d'hôte menu, we all know about the menu in advance. Okay, whatever the guest wants to consume in after few minutes or in their event. So we just put set up according to that. Okay, uh, if there are 5 course menu, we just put 5 course according to that. If there are 2 beverages, according to that, we just put 2 to 3 glasses matching with that beverage in which that particular beverage is served. Okay, through it set over there, and your budwas, which we call ABC ashtray budwas through it set. Okay, so in this picture, you can see there is a TDH setup is over there. Okay, because the setup that is organized, because the menu is known in advance. Okay, next is your in next point, fruit knives and fork are not kept but placed on the side board. Like whatever the fruit knives and or knives, any kind of K depicts to knives. Okay, are kept but placed on sideboards also. Maybe if they required for fruit knives for any kind of course, they may offer to you, or just placing from the sideboard to your table. Various wine glasses is also kept, like whatever the wines are served over there, you may kept onto the table also. If you don't know about the wines, you may also kept your wine glasses onto your sideboard. Okay, water goblets are placed, liquor or cordial glasses are newly placed. Okay, sorry, never placed. Like water goblets, we just whenever we are serving water, we just use water goblets, highball or Tom Collins for that. Okay, and after that, liqueur or cordial glasses are never placed. Like we never place cordial or liquor glasses onto the direct to the table. Whenever guests ask, we just pour the liquor into the glasses, and then we just placed onto the guest table. Salt and pepper shakers and the bread and the butter are served on the table before the guest enters. Like which I already told you, ABC, ashtray budwa screw it set. Okay, ashtray, and we never preferred nowadays, because most of the hotels are non-smoking. Only smoking, those hotels allow the smoking, that only prefer ashtray. So budwas and cruet set, salt and pepper shakers or sets we just provide to the guest, and breads and butter are served on the table before the guest enters. Like whenever the guest enter, we just put that before enters to the hotel, we just put that onto the table. The name of the guest is written on the cards which are placed at the head of the cover where the guest is to be set. Like this is mostly happened when the VIP guests are coming. We just put reserved tag or name of that guest, or if the guest booked the table in advance, we just put name tags onto to the table with the specification required by the guest. Okay, otherwise we never put or we never write it down the card of name of the card onto the guest and put it onto the table. Okay, moving to next slide, guys. Setting should be arranged such that gentlemen and ladies are seated alternately. The husband and wife should sit opposite each other. Like whenever we are providing setting, we just provide according to the guest requirement. And this point, they just may say that gentlemen and ladies can sit alternately. Like after one chair, there will be a gents over there, and then ladies, then gents, and then ladies. But that only depends upon the guest, how they want to sit. They may sit together or they may sit alternatively. Okay, the husband and wife should sit opposite each other. Like whenever there is a some couple lunch or dinner over there, they may sit opposite to each other. Okay, they may prefer only uh, cover with 4 or maybe with 2. Next point, a station number stand should be placed promptly for easy identification of waiter. Like this is very important and very good point. Like whenever we are providing the table to our waiters, we just provide side station with that. Okay, from where they just take their crockery, cutlery, silverware, glasswares from there. Okay, so in this point, they also said they just put some kind of numbers or number of station, like number 1 station, number 2 station, or number 3 station, by which waiter can easily identify their station. They can't confuse at any point. Okay, and by this they may provide smooth and efficient service to the guest. Okay, and next, napkin should be attractively folded for each cover. Like whenever we are providing covers to any waiter, they just uh, put their crockery, cutlery with napkin folds very attractively. Okay, we all know that. So try to make some different kind of folds, but it should be same with other waiters or other covers also. Okay, this is very much important. Next is your flower varies with fresh flowers be placed on table. Like whenever you are using fresh flowers, you have to change frequently. Frequently means after 1 day or after a half day, because they may lose their freshness, or they may lose their you can say the colors. Okay, so try to exchange your fresh flowers. Okay, very frequently or after 1 day. Our next point is handling tips. This is very important, and you have to know about how to handle tips. And whenever we just take tips from the guest, and never ask, especially this point is for everyone, never ask for the tip. If guest wants to give you, you may take, but never ask frequently from the guest for the tips. How to handle tips these this is the all this point is also again with the related to your supervisor. Like you just collect all the tips from the guest and put it on into the box, tip box. Okay, after that, at the end of the month or after end of the week, you can say that that all depends upon the uh, policy of that hotel. Like they just distribute their tips after a week or after a month or after 15 days. Okay, so in this uh, again the responsibility, you may say that again put it on to the supervisor of that particular department that distribute, and they may handle the tips which we collected in a whole week or in a whole month. So tips distribution is to be done every month, weekly or bi-weekly. The captain accomplished by any of non-management team member to attest and witness the counting of tip. Like whenever we are counting or whenever we are opening the tip box, we just take the team member from the outside source, not from the our particular department, for the witness purpose, like how much tip we collected, or whenever we are counting that particular tip, we just take or just you can say that call some non-management team member, okay, which are not from our department, to attest and witness the counting of tip. Like there should not be any kind of fraud or pilferage of that tips. Okay, and next point, this procedure is a supplement of a human resource department journal tip policy and must be followed and adhered to by all concerned team members of the hotel. Like supplement of human resource department, maybe you can say that procedure may be relate to the human resource department, or you can say that whenever you are counting the tips, you may call someone from the human resource department rather than calling from other departments. Okay, that will very much helpful to you, and much followed be and must be followed and to be concerned team member of that hotel. Like whenever we are uh, distributing the tips, or we just put that tips into the human resource department, okay, under the policy, journal policy, what we decided, or what that hotel may prepare that policy for the tips. Next is your collecting and recording of tips from outlets. Like there is a again process, or you can say that how we record and collecting the tips from the outlets. In first point, collect the tip box from each outlet, example coffee shop, IRD, special restaurant, etc. Record the total amount of tips received on to the register. Tips are counted every 15th and end of the month, maybe after 15 days, or after a month, or after a week, may depend upon the hotel's policy or that particular organization in which we are working. Okay. And next point, count the tips in the pantry or back of the office. Like whenever we are counting the tips, we are always prefer to take the pantry or back of the house, or maybe we can go to the HR department, that is also again the back of the house area, where the guest not directly approach. Okay, so we just go over there and just count the tips, or open that boxes which we collected from coffee shop, IRDS, special restaurant, or any kind of you can say that bakery shop, if we are having in our organization or in our hotel. If there is any foreign currency or chips on the tip box, then change them into the exchange for cash. Like if we found any kind of foreign currency or any kind of, you can say, chips. Okay, chips means like coins of foreign currency. Okay, so we just exchange that foreign currency from our exchange, where the all the guests exchange their currency and get the currency hard cash of that particular currency of that particular country. So this is the procedure to calculating and recording the tips from the outlets. When the team member exchanges foreign currency or tokens into the cash at the team member's bank, the below information is required in the bank record. Like whenever you are exchanging your foreign currency or tokens, you just have to uh, like put the information below over there, like how much currency or how much exchange you have did, which is received in the form of your tips. Name and ID number of the team member received the tips, like whatever the person who is going to exchange the foreign currency from the exchange counter. Okay, they just put or mention their name and ID of that particular team member, so that if any kind of you can say that problem happened, or you can say that any kind of fraud happened, or any situation may happen. Okay, they just got to know who is come for the exchange purpose. Next is your date and time mentioned over there. Okay, amount of chips been cashed, like how much amount you have been cashed over there from foreign currency, team members signature, and bank cashier signature also. Okay, these points are very much mandatory whenever you are going for the to exchange your tips from the exchange counter or foreign currency exchange counter. Captain must be assisted by one or non-management team member when counting the tips. Like whenever you are counting the tips, which I already told you, some of the captain must be assisted by one of the non-management team member, like whosoever the person is not concerned with your department or with that particular departments from where the tips are collected. That particular person is come, and then you count the tips. No cash are to be taken out of the property without the approval of the department head. Like whenever you are counting the tips, if you need or if you think like we can take our amount of tips with us in at home, you have to take approval from the heads firstly, then you can take that tips only. Okay, otherwise you can't take. You just have to count, mention the amount over there, and then uh, deposit it into the department where it is required, or where whatever the policy over there. Next, both the team members receiving the tips and managers will sign in the logbook acknowledging receipt. Like both the team members, like one of the captain or one of the particular person from that department where the tips are collected, and one person from the non-management department, they just receive the tips, and the manager will sign and into logbook that acknowledging the receipt. Or you can say that whosoever the person is collecting, counting the tips, and then they just deposit it to the manager, and the manager must sign and protect the entry into the logbook, and acknowledging the receipt with that to that people who are depositing that amount of that tips, so that they just have the you can say that record, like what amount he deposit to the manager, and what manager is having that amount. Okay, so both the person are having the record in their hands. Okay, next, distribution the tips to all concerned team members. Like how to first we just studied about like how we collected the tips, and what from where we get the tips, and then uh, how we count and collect the tips from the other departments and from the in-house departments, and then after collecting, and you can say that the time to distribute all the tips for the concerned team members. Choose a quiet period, okay, when restaurant are not busy, to disturb the tips. Like again, they just think about, like if there is a peak season or busy restaurant, they if they try to distribute the tips on over there, or they just disturb their waiters at that time, they also may disturb the tips which they earn from the restaurant. So they just take the quiet period when there is no busy schedule, or you can say there is no rush into your in your restaurant, so they just take that time to distribute the tips. Next, normally 25% of the tips is shared with the kitchen staff and rest with the F&B staff. Like they may take 30 or 35% also, but here they are mentioning 25%. 25% tips, you may can say that shared with the kitchen staff, and rest of the amount they may take with the F&B staff. They may fluctuate, or you can say that may go up and down to 30 35% also. So it all depends upon the organization and the person who are deciding to distribute the tips. Next, the tips will be shared equally by all full-time employees, like whosoever working full-time in the hotels, that tips are shared equally to with them, not with the permanent, sorry, with the temporary or casual, or you can say with the contract basis staff person, or the staff who is regularly working over there. uh, they just shared the tips with them equally with them. Okay, management is negligible to accept tips. Like management is not interested to take tips. They just give all the tips who are in the restaurant or in the kitchen. Show the tip distribution record to all team members. Like whenever you want to ask, or whenever you want to know about how much tip is earned by the particular department, and how much you received and how much other received, you can take the record, or you can just check that record by just you can say that asking to show the records, because all the tips distributed by the, you can say that, hotel, or by the management, or by the team members, they just record all that tips by mentioning the name, by how much tip we just provided to the team members. Slide. Okay, stock taking, after all the, you can say that doing this, one more responsibility is on your supervisory function, or in the supervisory function, or you can say that on your managers, like how to take stock and just recording all the stocks. The main objective of stock taking is to ascertain the actual value of goods in hands as distinguished from the book value of the stock. Like the main objective of stock taking, or you can say that recording, or in kind of inventory, we can say that in this, like what is the main objective of this the main objective of this, what actual food, or if we talk about our industry, what actual food, what actual beverages, or are things which we required at the time of services, what things we just have in our hands. Okay, so what we can say that we just record that values in our books. Okay, so that in future, or at the time of actual service, or at the time of, you can say that, any kind of event, we just know about all the things what we have in our hands, and what we have to again purchase, or what we have to put requisition for that. Okay, and next, it is the process of physical counting of all stock items in the storerooms and kitchen. Like what we do at the time of inventory, there are two types of inventory you all know about: physically and perpetual inventory. Okay, in physical inventory, we just count physically, like we just go to the particular area, or particular department, or particular storeroom, and we just count that particular items, and one of the person is noting down into the paper. Okay, but in perpetual inventory, we just take the stock register, or the register which we already have, on which we just recorded all the things. We just check that material, uh, received material and issued material, and minus received material from the issued material, and we just got the you can say that count what we have in our hands. Okay, so by going physically and count that items is also called stock taking in a storeroom, or maybe in the kitchen, wherever we are keeping our raw material. Okay, it is carried out by food and beverage control department of the hotel, and in case of food store, it has done once in a month, or housekeeping item once in a 2 month. Okay, and for alcoholic beverages or bar, once in a 24 hours. But it may not happen once in a 24 hours. It all depends upon the situation. But if we talk about the main role of stock taking is of any department, is your storeroom person who is responsible for the store, and person who is responsible for F&B control department. Okay, he will just go to the actual area, count all the items, and write it down onto the inventory sheet. Okay, but it all depends to department to department, how frequently you are doing this. Okay, it has done once in a month in F&B store, or in food store, or you can say that any store in a hotel. Okay, for housekeeping, once in a 2 month, like after 2 months, you may go once over there and just check all the your cleaning agents and equipments you required. But not, we can say that after 2 months we go once, but we can say that in 1 month we can go for 2 times. Okay, for alcoholic beverages, or you can say for bar purpose, we can, you can say that, inspect or take stock after 3 days, or after 4 days, or after a week, or after the completion of a particular event where we required all the alcoholic beverages. Okay, purpose of stock taking, like to determine the value of goods held in stock. Okay, to check the total value of stock held in the accordance with the financial policy and establishment. Like uh, our main motive of stock taking or inventory is like the things which we are having not should be used in a proper time, should not be expired, before the time. Okay, so we just take that's why we just take thorough on stock taking or on in, or you can say that in inventory process. Okay, so to determine the value of goods in hands in stock, okay, like what goods we have, the value, total value what we have, or what financial policy we just established or we prepared, we are going with that or not, or it may exceed, okay, or it may be on proper level. So we have to check also that kind of things also. Okay, to compare the value of goods actually in stores with the book value of the stock at the particular time. This is very important. Excuse me. We also can compare, like sometimes there is fraud in our hotel or pilferage or theft in our hotel. So we can also compare what actual amount we mentioned in our books. Okay, when we do the inventory or stock taking very recently, or very you can say that previous inventory, and what actual stock we have in our, you can say that in our store. Okay, so we also compare that also. Okay, by this we just minimize our theft, pilferage, fraud from the stores and from the, you can say that in a department. To list slow moving items, like that is also important, like what items are not very much frequently in use, we can slow that we can minimize their purchase, or you can say that first we have to you can say use that items, then we put the requisition for that. Okay, or the items which are very much slow, we can also eliminate from our list. Okay, that may also happen. And next, to compare usage with sales to assess food percentage as the determinate against loss of pilferage. Like again, comparison is very much important, like what sales we are doing and what percentage we are having, or what loss or pilferage we are facing with. Okay, like if we take an example, our sale is 30%. Okay, we are purchasing the material of 100 rupees, and we are just selling, or you can say that selling our material of 30 rupees. Okay, now we have to left with 70 rupees. Okay, but we only left with 50 rupees, but the 20 rupees of that particular you can say that amount, we don't know where to where it has been go. They may go into the wastage when we prepare the food for the guest. The 10% of the wastage, and 10% maybe pilferage or fraud, or maybe theft of the of your staff itself. Next is to determine the rate of the stock turnover. Like you also may uh, determine how frequently the rate of your turnover, like what rate of turnover is you are having, or in next few years, or in next financial year, what kind of turnover you want. So you just again decide according to that. So this is the formula: opening stock plus purchasing during that period minus requisition made in the same period is equal to value of closing stock. Like whenever we are just calculating, or the stock taking, or what things in our hand, or what after closing all the stocks, what assets, or you can say that things in our hands. So we just calculating by opening stock, like what at the time of opening, or you can say that at the time of the first month of the year, we just open with this amount, plus purchasing during that period, what purchasing things are in hand. Okay, after again plus with purchasing what things we purchased. Okay, minus requisition made in same period, like what requisitions we require get in the same period, and then we get the value of our closing stock. So This is the formula to calculating the stock taking. There are two types of stock taking, which I already told you: perpetual stock taking and physically stock taking. In perpetual, what we do, it is the stock register in the storeroom register or book, or the book stock. Like we do what we do in perpetual, we don't go physically at the place where we put all, or which where we store all the material or raw material of our hotel or of our organization. We just open the register in which we just put all the entries which at the time of receiving. Okay. And from that we just minus the issued items, and we just got the stock in hand or inventory list over there. Okay. But in physically stock taking, we have to go physically and count all the goods and items in the storeroom and note it onto the physically inventory sheet. That particular task, or you can say that particular duty, may done by two people, one from your store person and one from the F&B control department, food and beverage control department. They both go to the storeroom. One person count all the items, and second person write it down onto the inventory sheet, physically onto the inventory sheet. So guys, this is the end of your lecture. Okay. We today, any confusion, any doubt in this topic, supervisory functions, you may discuss with me right now. I'll happy to solve your queries. Any confusion, guys? Guys, perpetual inventory is basically inventory in which we don't want to go physically at the place where we store all the raw material over there. We just check our register, which we already kept in our storeroom, or maybe in the you can say that in the place where we set. Okay, we just check the receiving stock over there, and then we just minus issued stock from that, and we just get the stock in our hand. Okay, or closing stock in our hand. Okay, so that is called perpetual inventory. And next is your physical inventory. In physical inventory, we can say that we have to go physically at the place where we store all our raw material, and do the physical count. This task is, or the duty, you can say that, have done with the two people, one person from the storeroom and the second person from the F&B control department. They both go and count the items and write it down the on inventory sheet physically. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
launching one poll for you. Just answer that poll. Okay. Hurry up, guys. Hurry up. Still 15 students are left. Hurry up. Only 10 seconds more. Hurry up. Okay, guys, done. End up with the polling. What will be the right answer? Anyone from your side? Right answer, guys. Two types of stock taking. Name them. With just sharing your result, check your result, and we will move forward to next question. Next poll I launch for you guys. Just answer this question quickly. You just have 1 minute. Hurry up, hurry up. 30 seconds more, guys. Hurry up. Still 15 students are left. Quickly, guys, quickly. Okay, end up with the poll. Anyone from your side? What will be the right answer, guys? Just sharing your result. Check your result. Okay, thank you. Uh, guys, I just shared one Google form with you. Fill it by today and submit it. Okay. It is mandatory for all students. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Your lecture is over now.
Thank you, sir.